evening, we bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
We give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Dip Dipianco. In tonight's game plan, we'll take a look at the biggest names that came out of the eliminations round of the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
We'll also take a look at some of the top rookies in the ongoing UAAP Women's Volleyball Tournament. And we'll get courtside updates from UAAP Season 85 as we reveal the hidden talents of the Adamson Lady Falcons and the NU Lady Bulldogs. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. It's a tale of two sides as we're almost at the end of the eliminations in the PVL. Now, on one hand, there are teams that are semi-bound squads. And on the other are those hoping for a better run next conference. Now, while their teams may not have made it to the postseason, we still need to give an ode to the standouts that kept fighting until the bitter end. Now, joining us tonight to talk about all of that is PVL analyst Jamie La Victoria. Jamie, I love it. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about here. First of all, congratulations to all of the players and all the teams that did make it to the semifinals. But then there are some players here, Jamie, that we want to talk about because really, despite the results not being that great, it did shine. I want to talk about first Rachel Ann Bacchus in particular for Signal. Not the type of season that they wanted, but
That's
then,
right.
you know, former Queen Tamarao still going strong here, captain. It just felt like she wore her heart on her sleeves every time.
That's right. Their season in this All-Filipino Conference was very shaky. It's not their usual. She was number 27 in scoring with a total of 61 points. And although they did not win, they have a team that's full of veterans. And she is the player that is holding their team together. And I have to give kudos to her because she plays professionally.
Yeah.
She's very emotional, which is also good, but she also leads by example on the court.
Right. Speaking of veterans, another player that was on the move on the offseason was Dindin Santiago Manabat, of course, coming to a team where you also played for a while, right, for the Akari Chargers. Do you think that she looks good in pink? Do you think she fits in well with that young team of Akari?
I think she's a perfect fit, actually, for that team because Akari is full of rookies and they need that one ate on the court. They actually call her Mama D, and she's perfect for that. And you know, she's also being tested because she's surrounded by a lot of newbies. So I know that she is that leader on and off the court.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because, Dip, I don't know if you noticed, she avoided the question, does she look good in pink? So, we're going to avoid that. No, we're moving on from that.
She looks great in pink.
No, but all seriousness here, when you talk about Dindin, that's a challenge for her in the sense that she's coming in as a leader and it's hard to come into a group and automatically be a leader. How do you think she fared in that role in particular? Because they brought her in basically to be the leader that Mama P was. Right before this conference.
Right before Reinforce. I mean, I'm sure it was difficult for Ate Dindin, but because you're a vet, you know what you're getting into, and you have to have that certain patience for your squad.
Right. Let's move on to the next player, Jamie. Maddie Madayag, of course, we know that she came from an injury, right? Medyo matagal yung recovery niya from that ACL. But do you think how she performed in this conference, it was enough like what we expected of her? Kasi, of course, we all know it's a slow progress, right? Not everyone's gonna be or come out 100%. But did she do enough to at least help out her team this conference alone for Maddie Madayag?
Well, after not playing for 1 year and you know, during that off season, she had a lot of therapy, physical therapy with that. And I believe she did do a good job. I mean, you have to take those baby steps because you don't want to take big steps because, you know, you want to take it easy on your body and also your mental state. So I think she did a great job this season.
You know, you talk about the mental state, you talk about her learning to trust her body again because normally that's what happens when it comes to injuries. Do you feel like this is just the start? We're going to see the ramp up to even better Maddie in the next few conferences?
Definitely. I mean, she did have 11 points against Akari, which is already double digits in their opening game. So do expect her to learn how to get that consistency back. It's not easy, but I know she'll put in the work for that.
Right. And finally, on the list of the players that did well, of course, not making it though to the semifinals, just missed it with that loss the other night is Mylene Paat in the Cherry Tigo crossover. She was, of course, the MVP last conference. Could have been an MVP candidate as well if they made it more further to the conference. But what do you think of her performance this All-Filipino conference? Of course, we know Mylene, how she plays, always with fire, always with intensity. But how did she do in the All-Filipino conference?
Well, I mean, I think that the name already speaks for itself. She is the #1 scorer. And what I like about her game is she leads by example. You know, she's not all talk. She actually walks the walk. And not only does she do that, she's also that ate that is needed on the court. She brought in that, you know, wisdom and knowledge from her international stint in Thailand. And it did do justice for her squad, but not enough to make it. So I'm sure that they're going to go back to the drawing board so they can elevate their game even more.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tom Yum really put fire in her belly.
That's right.
It never went away ever since she came back. But then, of course, si Pat Charapon, when you talk about her, and you talk about her performances here, some people said, all right, she probably needs a bit more help in terms of scoring when you take a look at this Cherry team. But do you feel that if Cherry had advanced this particular conference, that she would have firmly been in the MVP discussion?
Definitely. I mean, the numbers speak for itself. She is the #1 scorer, like I said, and if she had more help, and also the timing of their wins and losses were very crucial. They had to win certain games, do or die games, but obviously not enough to reach the Final Four.
Right. What can we expect, I guess, tomorrow for the last game day of PVL? Of course, some teams, couple of those teams are already eliminated. And actually, you already have the final forecast. But what can we expect on the final game day of the PVL? Some of these names will also be seeing action tomorrow.
That's right. Well, the 2 games tomorrow are non-bearing games, but do expect that those teams want to end on a good note. I mean, they did not reach the Final Four, but do expect they'll bring their A game.
And expect us also tomorrow.
Yes,
I'll be working
that's right.
together.
We're covering tomorrow, guys. Last game.
And I'll be here on the game. So you know what? We're not done with Jamie yet. So you guys can continue building the chemistry for tomorrow. But you know what? After the break.
And after the break, we move to the collegiate ranks as we list down the top rookies to watch in the UAAP Women's Volleyball Tournament. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. Part of the excitement of a new UAAP season is seeing the new breed of talent from the rookie class. Now still with us to talk about her picks for the top rookies to watch. This season 85 is UAAP volleyball analyst Jamie La Victoria. Jamie, welcome back. This time we're talking about collegiate volleyball. And of course, the future is bright with all these players, with all these names. We'll be talking about them. Unahin na natin, someone you covered earlier today, Casey Cepada of the UE Lady Red Warriors. Their team has yet to win a game in the UAAP, but talk about her performance so far for UE.
Well, earlier today, their game against FEU went into 5 sets. But when I watch her play, she plays like a vet. She's not the tallest, but she powers through that block. And she's a very smart player, not only in the front, but also in the non-scoring department with her defense and receive.
And again, 9th best spiker in the UAP, and of course 80 points a day. And you just feel that the win is just around the corner for UE. But you talked about defense a while ago, and did you know, Dip? I'll ask you because I love trivia. Did you know that the best digger in the UAP today is a rookie?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, 78 digs and 48 receptions today against UE from FEU, Marga Encarnacion. Again, the best already.
I know.
So far, young season, best so far. But then what makes her different for you? What makes her so impressive apart from the numbers that we see here?
I mean, she gets the job done. She's not that flashy player. She walks the walk. And against her game against Ateneo, she was actually player of the game. And it's not impossible to be a bog if you're a libero, but I mean, she did the job. She had 35 digs.
Right.
And earlier against UE, she had, I believe, 34 digs as well. So, I mean, the numbers.
Yeah, 34 digs against UE today. Marga Encarnacion. Exciting to see one of the younger players put up those numbers.
Right, it's crazy as a rookie, right? You're already the #1 digger, already starting also for a young team like FEU. So exciting for them. And the next player we'll be talking about is part of a stacked team. We know how talented the NU Lady Bulldogs are. But Vanji Alinsug actually is able to find her place, find her role in this talented squad. What about her performance or her game impresses you the most for Vanji Alinsug?
I like how she stays ready all the time. And you would think that Coach Carl wouldn't play the rookies yet. You know, you would think he would play them when they have some sort of leeway. But he played her in their game against UP. Bella Belen was kind of shaky at the start, and he let Alinsug play the entire game, and she scored 13 points in that match.
Yeah, it's crazy. You take a look at Alinsug and you feel that, NU are still like a machine, still a team to beat in general.
Deep bench.
Yeah, deep bench, and she fit into that machinery really well. Now, moving on to LaSalle here and Angel Canino. When you talk about Angel Canino and LaSalle's season, it feels like they're almost intertwined, and just the sheer firepower she has is staggering almost for a rookie.
That's right. I consider her that offensive gem. And I mean, before they had played Ateneo, she was really looking forward to it. And you would think as a rookie, it's a big game. The jitters would be there and you would make those silly rookie mistakes, but she scored 23 points against Ateneo. I mean, the numbers.
Are there jitters if there's Ateneo LaSalle and it's your first Ateneo LaSalle?
I can attest to that, how I did have that back in 2017. I remember that day specifically.
But Angel Canino seemed like she didn't have those jitters on that day. Of course, we know her athletic background. She has her parents as former athletes, former track and field star in Bacolod.
Yeah.
And she herself was a UAAP Juniors MVP and champion, talking about Angel Canino. With that said, do you think she's actually living up to the hype? I kind of know the answer to this, but I want to hear it from you. Is she living up to the hype that people were bringing in coming into the season?
I believe that she is, but I feel like towards the second round, I think she can do way more.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I think she's saving, and hiding what she can do now.
There's more.
There's more.
I'm sure Pa will be happy with that.
I was gonna say, yan yung headline sana natin. Jamie La Victoria says that she can do more. All right, no, but seriously speaking here, former UAP Juniors MVP and champion, and normally that does carry over the expectations. She was probably the most known unknown product here in the senior level of the UAP going into this one. But let's move on to the player that you feel is most impressive rookie-wise. Again, your own opinion here, because the numbers back it up. 4th best scorer with 76 points. sixth best spiker with 65 spikes already, averaging 18 points per game in the last 2 wins. Trisha, Tubu of Adamson, what is up with her?
I mean, she just gets the job done, and for some reason, even if it's a triple block or just a double block, she still manages to work around the block. She uses her smarts, and what I noticed in her approach, it's very explosive, and then she has this last-minute decision of tipping it, and that confuses the defense of the opponent.
She has that hang time, as we're seeing some of her highlights right now. And she has that hang time when she goes up. At 23 points, also a season high against Ateneo.
Yep.
And you take a look at what Tubu is dealing with. And it's not just what she's putting on the floor. We were talking a bit about this off the air with some of our friends here, the Courtside reporters, saying that Trisha Tubu mentally is also strong and the nicest person, apparently.
That's right, and I believe being mentally tough off the court is far more important because, there will be a lot of people who will say whatever they want. So, you would think at a young age it's hard to handle the emotions, but you can tell that she has that maturity locked in.
Right, so admirable is Trisha Tubu of Adamson. But we all know how their season ended last time around, just missed the Final Four.
That's right.
They went into the playoff match, but they lost that one against Ateneo. Do you think this time around, with Trisha Tubu on their side, Adamson can make it further in season 85?
I believe they can. I believe they will be in the top 4. I will not say my other 3 though.
Until we reach commercial. So, Jamie, maraming salamat. You did really well today, and of course, we can't wait to see you in the PVL with this guy.
Yep.
Very
More
soon.
guys.
Yeah, so catch that non-bearing games, but then they talk okay. Okay, really thank you a lot, Jamie.
Thank you.
So after the break, we'll find out what's keeping Adamson's Kate Santiago and NU's Jen Nierva busy outside the volleyball court. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back, you're watching The Game. The UAAP is where it all begins for the next generation of volleyball stars in the country. But besides their volleyball career, these student athletes have also been discovering new things about themselves on and off the court. Now let's find out more from Season 85 correspondents Jana Ejido and Jerry Medina reporting for Adamson and NU respectively. Ladies, welcome back to The Game, and of course we're so excited to hear your stories. But first, I wanted to ask you, kamustahin lang natin how the season's been for you guys and for your teams. Unahin natin si Jerry, of course, for NU.
So compared to season 84, there's so much expectations coming into season 85.
Yeah.
And the girls tell me this season is way more challenging because it's harder to tell which team will do good in games. But that's why games are more exciting for us now. And it's so nice when you attend training and you see them in games. It's so nice to see all of them play and they get so competitive and so different on court. So it's been nice to watch them.
And if you see the stories of Jerry, very close to the team right now. A lot of bonding with them.
No, absolutely. That's why she's the best person to be here, to be honest. And, Jana, you take a look at this Adamson team. A lot of people are surprised. I'm sure the team itself aren't surprised. But then, how's the season been? How have they been reacting to their early season success?
Well, the girls are so relaxed. Every time I go to the dugout, it's a very calm atmosphere, and that's the kind of atmosphere that Coach Jerry wants among the girls. And the girls are not getting into their heads. Like, they always remind themselves that it's still the first round, it's still early, and like what you said, they just came out of nowhere. But this preparation has been a long time coming, especially when we know what happened to them in season 84 with the step ladder, the playoffs. They took that as motivation, and then Louis Romero built her first 6, and from there it's been going up.
Right, good season so far for their teams, but let's move forward to the stories that you have for us tonight. Unahin natin si Jana for Adamson. We all know K-pop is big, but P-pop is apparently popping also in the Adamson side. There's a player that likes or is into P-pop.
Yes, the girls love their music, just like all of us. But when I met the Adu girls, they really love their P-pop, like what you said earlier. And Mayang Nike, one of the middle blockers, and Honey Toreng are big fans of those. Mayang is particularly a fan of SB19. She considers herself an 18, and then when I talked to her before the game, she listens to SB19. She tweets about them, and I asked, what's with their music that makes you so pumped up before the game? And she said they just help her get through life. And I thought that was a cool perspective, that you have a boy group that inspires you the way it does. And same with Honey Toreng, who loves BGYO, and it's cool to know that these girls have different sources of inspiration.
That's great to hear. I would love to have Dip sing a little verse from SB19.
No,
pero hindi namin afford. Pasensya na po. The TF will go way too high. But we talk about how these girls, they always come together, especially in the locker room. They try to make each other look good. And literally for some, they do. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a hairstylist in this team, Tom Adamson.
There is. And she is none other than the 6th best scorer in the league right now. That's Kate Santiago. Whether she's scoring 20 points, 18 points in games, she's actually the hairstylist of Adu. Whenever I would go into the dugout, all the girls are just on the floor, and then Kate is sitting down, and both of her hands are just braiding everyone's hair, whether that's the tiny braids on a ponytail or your entire hair. It's just both at the front or at the back, whether that's a fishtail, a single. That's Kate.
Has she braided your hair?
I really wanted to, but
That's what's happening next.
Karen Verdeflor, Kay Lazo all went ahead of me.
All right, that's what's happening next. But Nierva, we all know about her and makeup, but then it still continues today.
Yeah, so if there's a hairline in Adamson's dugout, there's a makeup line in NU's dugout. Nierva's the resident makeup artist of NU. But believe it or not, she told me when she was still younger, she was boyish. She didn't really dress up a lot, she didn't put makeup, she didn't really like going out. But in the pandemic, she spent a lot of time home. So that's when she started learning how to put blush, started putting foundation more. And so after that, she became the makeup guru. So it's so cute when the girls are bored, including me.
Yeah.
There's another makeup line in training.
Okay.
She did all of our makeups before, and sometimes she'd do my makeup before the game. And even in the press con, she helped me with my eyeliner.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put up a business in the
I was gonna ask Jerry if her makeup right now is a la Jen or not. But then, but let's move on.
Right. Okay, more stories naman for NU this time. Of course, the duo of Sheena, Tering, and Erin, of course, when they lost to UST, talk about their character and how they bounced back from that one.
Yeah, so the girls took the UST loss very personally, also because they haven't really lost in the country for a very long time. So when they lost against UST, you could see in their faces, like Jen, Alay, Manang Ses, that they really took the loss, like it was such a shock to them. That's why there was like a moment after the game, and these are the moments you have as a courtside reporter, as a correspondent, that you get to only understand when you're there.
Right.
So anyway, Erin, as the high school team captain, she rallied everyone. There was like a circle in MOA, and that's when she was like, she looked at everyone and she was like, gusto pa ba natin mag back-to-back? And it was like time stop and drama. And then they all looked around and they were like, gusto. So that was very moving. And then the day after, I talked to Manang Ses and Alay, and they both told me, like, after Erin said, gusto pa ba natin mag-back-to-back, they said that moving forward to UP, because UP was the next game.
Yeah.
So moving forward, they always ask themselves that every time they set, every time they're about to serve, like, gusto ko pa ba mag-back-to-back?
Yeah. And that's really interesting because we all wondered how NU would react inevitably with a loss will finally break into the record. But at the same time, I also want to talk to Jan about Adamson because we talk about the early season success. We also talk about the fact that you mentioned that they're super calm. And I know this is off script here, but you're ready. You take a look at this Adamson team. How do they deal with setbacks when things don't go right? We've heard it from the NU side. How do Adamson do it?
Coach Jerry would always be the first one to talk. But Coach Jerry isn't known for being very extravagant with his words. But after he does, that does the change in the atmosphere for the girls. And then he would leave that to none other than his team captain, Louis Romero. And Louis' leadership, her presence is felt among the team right away. Whether that's a play that she's planning to orchestrate or whether that's just the words that she wants to say, it really does change the atmosphere of the team. Whenever they're a set down, I remember when it was my match with Jerry, there were 2 sets down, and that's when I felt Louis' leadership changed the atmosphere for the girls first time.
All right, great. We're so excited to see you guys report more and share more stories, both for Adamson and NU, and super exciting really, Pao, how the games have been going on. Kasi may mga teams ito really have a good shot at being at the final.
No, yeah, they really do. And, it honestly
You're
adds
laughing
so
because
much.
Lasal is up there, right?
I was going to say, I'm not wearing the right color today. But girls, really, thank you very much. You're doing a great job. We can't wait to see your next game.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Dip Dipianco.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.